so I don't think I'm stepping on too many people's toes when I say so far the Culling game has been pretty great. Between the full introduction of Kenji Hikari recently, a wonderful cast of new and interesting characters, and an ever-growing number of Jujutsu Kaisen fights that we all know and love, yeah, it's been pretty awesome. And most of us have been liking it so far. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, it helps out and means a ton. But with that being said, the Culling game still has a long way to go before it can surpass the Shibuya incident. But I think there are a few things that can help it along that way, so we need to talk about them today. Number one is actually Satur Gojo. Some of you may find this addition to the list a little bit interesting or questionable, considering Gojo is just sitting in Prison Realm. But his absence from the Culling game itself actually adds a lot. A lot of stakes, that is, because Satoru Gojo has been a safety net throughout, well, I guess I'm going to say the first half of the series, because yeah, he was only in the first half of the series at this point, he's been gone for a while. The stakes are really raised up when he's not here. Granted, he wasn't there for the end of the Shibuya incident, but that was us also trying to make a scramble to get him back. The Shibuya incident fully ended when Gojo was taken away by Kenjiku at the very end. Until that prison realm was gone, we still had to hold on to hope of getting him back. We being the people in the Jujutsu Kaisen world. Now, in the Culling games, we are running in blind without that safety net of Gojo. But even if Gojo does come back in the Culling game, that would relieve some of the stakes and take some of them away, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but that would give us one incredible, I can only assume, masterful moment.
Yes! Yes!
Can you imagine how good it is going to be? Can you imagine the level of, baggery that Akutami is gonna be in when Gojo comes back? That, in and of itself, could do a lot to add to the Culling game and help it surpass the Shibuya incident. Number 2 on the list is gonna be the main man of the Culling game himself, my personal favorite antagonist of the series so far, Kenjiku. This man can do a ton for the Culling game, and honestly, if he doesn't show up and show out in some way, shape, or form, he's already been doing a good job, just saying, but we need more if we're going to surpass the Shibuya incident. He can play a huge role because this is his game, it's his show, it's his coming out party, basically. If we're being entirely honest, everything before the Shibuya incident was him planning and him setting things in motion. The Shibuya incident was the initiation of his plans because the first full active step was sealing Gojo. Now we actually get to see these plans unfold in real time. Well, real manga time, not real world time, obviously, but you know what I'm saying. Either way, now that things are really going, we've really gotten the ball rolling, Kenjiku needs to show up big time, and I have big hopes for him. But what else can we say? It's really just looking forward to what Kenjiku might bring to the table. Should bring to the table, hopefully brings to the table. There's plenty of ways to describe it. Either way, we gotta keep going. Number 3 on today's list is going to be all of the new and interesting characters that we've gotten so far in the arc, and who knows, we might get a few more. Either way, we're mainly talking about Kashimo, Higuruma, Uro, Ryu, and Hana. These are all of the characters that are at least currently still alive and have been introduced in this arc specifically, or right before. I'm also going to go ahead and throw Yuta and Hikari into this section. Yuta, yeah, he was introduced in the prequel, that was also the prequel, and then we didn't really see anything from him until right before the Culling game, after the Shibuya incident was already over. And if we haven't already noticed, which you should have, it was an entire gauntlet of like 4 people, Yuta is going to rise and shine for all of us during the Culling game. That is, and already has been, pretty wonderful. Hikari, also, we knew about him before the Culling game, and we got introduced to him right before it, but let's be honest, this is also his coming out party, just like it is kind of Kenjiku's. This is where he will also, like Yuta, really rise and shine for us. Now, getting past them because, well, it's kind of obvious why they're going to add to the Culling games, the other characters. These are pretty much brand new characters that we either barely heard about right before this arc or have been introduced to during the arc itself. Uro, Ryu, these two have already given us plenty. Higuruma given us plenty. They've been great so far, but I have this sneaking suspicion we're probably gonna see them again before the Culling game is over. Call me crazy, say I'm just going way out there, but I have a feeling any of these new characters that make it out alive, they're probably gonna come back before it's over. And they've been great so far, like I said. I can only imagine they'll continue to add to this. And some of you may be thinking I've forgotten about Takaba. No, I have not forgotten about Takaba. How can you forget about Takaba? For better or for worse, he is going to play a role in this arc. Let me tell you. When the author tells you that his ability can even affect Gojo himself, just flat out says it. We aren't talking about Gojo at all. We just randomly bring him up. Like, yeah, this ability, it even affects him. It can even hit him. That right there should be a huge red flag that this dude is going to play a role in something big. Now, considering he isn't like mentally, physically aware of his technique and how it all works, I'm a little worried. But yeah, he's gonna do something big. Quite a few of these characters might do something big. I also mentioned Kashimo and people that are still alive are going to continue to be alive. I, for one, don't think Kashimo or Hikari are going to die during their first initial fight in the Culling games. That seems like kind of a waste of either of their characters. So they're going to be around for more, and honestly, you're reading their fights along with me. Do you not want to see more from Hikari and Kashimo in the Culling game? How could that do anything? Anything at all? Besides up the grade, the quality of this arc. Number 4 on the list is going to be Yuji Itadori, the main character himself. Now, I know Yuji did a ton during the Shibuya incident, and he added a ton to that arc. But, going back to the number 2 entry, which was Kenjiku, that man / woman is very, very closely tied to Yuji and Yuji's past. He is his mother, for God's sake. I know that sentence sounded weird when I said he is his mother, but he straight up gave birth to him. They're kind of tied together very closely, and I, for one, have theorized that Kenjiku has big, big plans for Yuji. He kind of even said it himself at the end of the Shibuya incident. Now, one, outside of all this Kenjiku mother of Yuji stuff, which is already weird enough on its own, Yuji will probably do plenty just on his own throughout the arc. He's already had quite a few good moments. I expect him to do a lot. But the stuff with Kenjiku, that could lead to some very, very, very big things in this arc. One possibility, now we're just getting into theorizing territory, we're not going to stay here long, but one possibility is something I didn't bring up during Kenjiku's portion. That is the bomb that Reggie talked about Kenjiku getting ready or planning to drop on the Culling game. I and other people have theorized that Sukuna could be this bomb in a less straight out way, in a more metaphorical way. If you unleash Sukuna on the Culling game, that would be the equivalent of dropping a bomb on it. Let's be entirely honest, just look at Shibuya. It looks like somebody dropped the bomb on it. So that is definitely a possibility, and this would cause way more grief for Yuji's character than he's already feeling about Shibuya. And yeah, there are a ton of things that could happen with Yuji in this arc, and it could have a ton, an absolute metric ton of potential. And Yuji himself is just going to keep getting stronger. He's stronger since the Shibuya incident already, and who doesn't love good Yuji fights? He can do plenty on his own, especially on the combat side, and definitely plenty on the emotional side to increase this arc. Number 5 on the list is all of our reoccurring characters that have been in the Shibuya incident, not in the Shibuya incident. Let's be honest, if they're a reoccurring character and they're in this arc, they were probably in the Shibuya incident. It had most of the people in the series in that arc. But especially our younger, more blossoming characters, like Megami, for example. He is honestly the best example here. These characters, being in a shonen, in a manga, a battle manga, they are continuously growing, getting stronger, getting older, mentally, physically, all of these things. They constantly grow and grow throughout this series. So the later arcs, they have a lot more potential. And of course, Megami has just flown through the popularity list, is one of the most popular characters, if not the most popular character, and he's already done pretty good in the arc so far. And we got Hannah the Angel picking him up after his fight with Reggie, so I think it's safe to say he has plenty left to do. He can very easily surpass his previous Shibuya incident self. This can go along for plenty of other characters. Miwa is one that we saw kind of just standing in the wreckage of one of the fights, possibly Ryu's blast, I don't know, either way. They really didn't do a whole lot in the Shibuya incident. They could very well carry their own load and make the arc much more interesting in their own right. All of our reoccurring characters all have a chance to surpass their previous selves, and this leads great into our final point on today's list, and that is potential. The Culling game has basically unlimited potential. It's not over yet. We don't know everything that Kage Akutami is going to do in the arc. It's really hard to say something cannot surpass something that is already completed. The Shibuya incident is, well, it has finite potential, the potential we've already seen. Yeah, it can grow a little bit through retroactive things that happen later in the series, but for the most part, it's pretty set in stone how good the Shibuya incident is. The Culling game, it's not done yet. It can get better and better and better, so we really don't know the answer to this question until it's done. But with this being said, I gotta get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think? Does the Culling game have a chance to surpass the Shibuya incident? I think on a technical level, you kind of have to say yes, but if you really, really doubt the Culling games is going to or is able to surpass it, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And once again, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.